Hi, my name is Raymond Stier. I'm 35 years old and I live in Richmond, Michigan. I'm also married and I have two beautiful teenage daughters. I originally grew up on a farm in the town next door, New Haven, Michigan. After high school, I left home and joined the Army. When I returned from active duty, I joined the Michigan Army National Guard. And in the last 12 years that I've been with the National Guard, I've been on three deployments, with the last one being in Iraq. I now have almost 17 years in the Army. Growing up on a farm taught me a lot about life. I was raised to have faith in God and love for family. I was shown what hard work was, what life and death, how to hunt, and about the great outdoors and how to have an appreciation for nature. I first got into hunting when I was just a kid. When I was about 6 or 7 years old, I used to walk through the drainage ditches next to our house when I was growing up, catching snapping turtles by hand. It wasn't too long after that I was old enough to join my dad and my brother when my dad would take him out squirrel and rabbit hunting. During those years, my dad taught me a great deal about weapon safety, hunting. He showed me how to appreciate nature. To this day, I'm very adamant about not letting the game that I harvest go to waste. I've always been taught, you know, when you go to shoot at something, always think about the capabilities of your weapon, what's behind your target, and that's the same for target hunting and for while I'm hunting wild game. When I got to be about 11 or 12, I got my first bow. It was a tan fiberglass bow that my brother had given me. That he'd used it for years, and trust me, it wasn't anything fancy. There were no sights or even an actual arrow rest. I had to use the handle of the bow as a rest, and sometimes it kind of just more or less sat on the top of my hand. Uh, when he gave it to me, I think it was basically because he didn't have any string for it. He broke the string, and so it was just sitting around for him. So I had to improvise. What I ended up doing is I ended up using baler twine for bowstring. It was just about the right length. It was great. The twine was free. It didn't cost me any money. Living on the farm, I had an endless supply, and the arrows didn't slide up and down when I'd go to shoot it. I had a lot of wild adventures with that bow growing up. And as I grew older, I was able to go hunting. I wasn't able to go hunting or fishing with my dad as much, but it didn't seem to matter. The seed that my dad had planted in me years earlier when I was young, it finally taken root. And my love for hunting and for the outdoors began to grow. Over the years, my passion for hunting and my love for the outdoors has continued to expand, and it constantly is. I hunt anything and everything that I can and as often as I can. Since my childhood, when I used to hunt squirrels, rabbits, and white-tailed deer, I've discovered a whole new world of game to pursue. Now I hunt turkey, ducks, Canadian geese, coyotes, groundhogs, or woodchucks. Or anything else that I can. For the last several years, I've been also applying for the Michigan elk license and for black bear. So far, all I've got is some preference points built up, but I've got enough that hopefully this year will be the year. I'm really excited and looking forward to it. And I use a wide variety of tools and techniques when I hunt, and I've expanded my hunting arsenal. About 3 years ago, I started videotaping and recording my hunts. Which has been a valuable tool in itself because it allows me to replay the hunt over and over again, and I'm able to learn from them. And sometimes when you take that shot and you think you got a good shot, but you're not sure. That videotape is an awesome reference, an awesome tool that while I'm still up in the stand, I'm able to replay that and zoom in and slow it down and really get a good idea of how my shot actually went versus how I remember it happening. And some of the other tools that I use is I use trail cams. And if I'm hunting in a new area that I've never been before, I'll pull up aerial maps and I'll study the layout and what the ground looks like. And that'll give me a good idea of where wild game is going to be before I even step out there. And that gives me a leg up on the next guy. I hunt from ground blinds, from layout blinds, from fixed position and climbing stands, tree stands. I've got no problem sitting in a tree stand from an hour before sunrise up till like 30 minutes after dark. If I got an animal in front of me that I don't want to spook off, I sit in my tree stand. It's commonplace, and I love doing it. Or sometimes, I love stalking. Stalking my game. Sneaking through the woods, just quiet, and it's just amazing how many cool things you see just observing nature while you're doing it. When you actually slow down and take a look around. Or on the other side of the spectrum, I'll use a run and gun technique, especially when I'm turkey hunting. I'll just walk the trails and I'll hit the turkey call and just keep on moving. And as I had mentioned, I've kind of upgraded my hunting arsenal since the days of my fiberglass bow. Depending on the game I'm pursuing, I'll use anything from a 22 long rifle to a 20 or 12 gauge shotgun, and sometimes I use single shot. I'll use a pump or automatic. It doesn't matter. I'll use my black powder. I got a Thompson Center 50 cal muzzle loader that is awesome. I love it. Very dependable. I've upgraded from the fiberglass bow to a PSE compound bow that I use a lot. And I even got a Remington 7mm Magnum. And I enjoy shooting that. I've got a true passion for hunting in the outdoors. What I really enjoy is getting others involved into it too. I've talked to many people that have never hunted before, and even a lot of people that have used to hunt, but it was years ago. And I'll talk to them about hunting and getting into it. And, the common response that I get is, well, it's too hard, or it's too expensive, to get into it or to get back into it, or some of the excuses I get is, well, I don't have any property. You grew up on a farm, you got property to hunt. I don't have anywhere to go. For those individuals, I explain to them, I hunt state land, and it's easy to go on the internet nowadays and just punch it up, and you can find all kinds of state or federal property and access that you can hunt. And a lot of times you can find, you got to do your legwork and go out and find some of the undisturbed areas, but there are a lot of trophy animals taken on state land every year. And after sharing some of my hunting stories with them and showing them some of my videos of my own hunts, I've been able to motivate them into getting out into the woods. And it's such a fulfilling and just a gratifying feeling every time to see someone shake with excitement. When they've had that close encounter, they hit the grunt tube and that buck comes running right in, it's right up in their face, and you can just see them shaking, and especially after they harvest an animal, just to hear their voice tremble as they ramble on telling others about the rush that overcame them at the moment of truth, and that's just awesome to me. I'm proud to say that I've encouraged a lot of people to start or to get back into hunting and into the outdoors that normally wouldn't have gotten into it on their own. And for some people, I've been able to help expand their hunting experience by teaching them new techniques on how to hunt game that they've been hunting all their lives. Some people, believe it or not, don't put wind direction. It doesn't even occur to them. They just sit out by a tree and they're out deer hunting, but they're not thinking, scents and wind direction, and they don't go that far into it. But I've showed some people some techniques, and it's just such a great feeling that when someone will call me up or walk up to me and just come up to me out of the blue and be like, that new technique that you showed me, I couldn't believe it. I never would have thought of trying that. I saw more, fill in the blank, deer, ducks, geese, turkeys, whatever, than I ever did before. Thanks. I appreciate that. And that's awesome to me. I love that feeling. I love being able to get other people to feel that way, and this year was the ultimate. I got to take my youngest daughter out turkey hunting for the Springs, Michigan turkey hunt this year. This is the first time she's ever been out hunting in her life, and although she wasn't able to put a tag on the bird, we were still successful. We shared some great experiences that made for some wonderful memories that are going to last a lifetime. And to see the excitement in her eyes and to watch her begin to tremble with the adrenaline with some of the jakes or toms, with would start coming in, but then they just hang up just outside of range, of her shotgun, and it was just awesome. And just to hear her excitement and to see the expression on her face and how nervous she got, you know, it, it's it's awesome. It's something that you have to almost experience to know how it feels. It was exciting for both of us. But that's the reasons why I love hunting in the outdoors so much. Is it excites me to share it with whomever I can, and especially family. You know, um, this is the first time that I've ever applied for anything like this, so I'm a little nervous. Um, and that being the case, I didn't know what to expect or what to do. So I took a look. I went on YouTube. I took a look at some of the other auditions, to try and get an idea of how I might want to put mine together. And as I watched those auditions, I saw a lot of other people that had some great videos. And some of those videos were professionally done. I mean, I was surprised not to have already seen them on a DVD somewhere, or you know, on a cable channel that it's got hunting shows all the time. They were just awesome. And the talent and the skill that some of those individuals had by putting together the video auditions were just awe-inspiring. I mean, they were awesome. After viewing about a dozen of them, I found myself wondering, how can I compete against that? What chance do I have? You know, why am I even bother making a video myself? Why am I even trying this? I don't have half of what some of those guys have done. I've never traveled around the world hunting animals in different countries. I'm not an outfitter. I've never worked as a professional hunting guide on a big ranch. You know, but I can say this: I've got a true passion for God, family, hunting, the outdoors, and sharing it with as many people as I can. One thing that you can't see from this video is my intense dedication and devotion to all of those things that I just listed, and just keeping it real. Just the simplest things in life are the best things. Um, well, I just spent the last probably 8.5 minutes sharing with you some of the parts of my life, my morals, my hunting ethics, and experience. Uh, now that you've seen my audition, it's up to you to decide, and ultimately it's in God's hands. I would like to thank the staff at Real Avid for watching my audition and offering me this great opportunity to be part of their company. Thank you for your time and consideration. I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon.